as a female, people want you to prove how much you know. So it's like, I could have done the best job ever, but you'll get someone in the DMs being like, can you name every player from circa 2001 with brown hair who accidentally tripped over on the pitch at the 56th minute? And like, they will be so specific, because if you got that right, that means you know everything.
Today's guest, I am so excited to have Elsa Witch. She is known as a female gamer, presenter for Man City. She's also been on your screens on BBC Three, BBC Two, MOTDX. The list goes on, and welcome to the show. So Els, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I know.
More because I've known you such a long time, from the beginning of your career. Mm-hmm. So it's so nice to see how well how much you've flourished.
I know, I feel like we've both grown a lot.
I know, yeah.
Because we were trying to figure it out. So
I think it's about 2017.
2017.
It must
back in my alternate life. Because why did we meet? So we just went out a lot. I think I used to go out with some friends, and you were just there.
I was just there.
I remember where we met actually was in a toilet. It was you know, like when you make friends in toilets. We were at Carnival. There was was it a 66 event?
I took all the girls to 66 Carnival.
Yes, and I was in the toilet, and you were like, I really love your hair, because obviously we're both ginger. And then we just bonded over being ginger.
It's such a random topic, but it is something that I bond with people over. I'm like, do you get this a lot? Like, being ginger, like, are you naturally ginger? You're like this.
Yeah.
I didn't go through all these years of bullying for you to ask me questions.
I say the exact same thing. I'm like, obviously now I dye my hair more bright because
it fades.
It fades when you get older. But I say exact same thing. I'm like, I didn't go through years of bullying and being called ginger to then like be told, actually, you're not a real ginger. Because people say that to me sometimes.
No, me too. And like, they're like, well, it's not that bright. I'm like, well, if you know that, why are you asking me? Because you obviously know it's not this bright. Like, it is lighter. I think you've seen my natural hair colour. It's a lot like, it's like a strawberry blonde sort of.
I think we're similar colour, to be honest.
Yeah, we are. But you kind of gone like a few more different shades. I did it all when I was younger, and I feel like you kind of done it as you've got older. Like, you went blonde for a bit. And every time you go ginger, you'll message me like, I think I'm going to go back ginger. I'm like, I think you should do it. Do it. I'm like the ginger ally.
Yeah, because I was blonde, as you said. And then I kept toying with the idea of going back to ginger. But my main thing was, where I have a lot of shoots now, I didn't want my hair to fade and it just look off, like the colour to go off. But I just did loads of research, and here I am, got ginger hair again.
Full ginger. It's high maintenance. People don't realise. It's like every 5 weeks I get mine dyed.
Yeah.
And people think I'm a fraud because I've got extensions. I'm like, well, my hair doesn't grow past here, so what do you want me to do?
Mine's also extensions, so...
Two fake gingers. So we met about this 2017 mark, and when I think people think that your journey was quite quick, but I can bargain now that it was not, because, you know, when I first met you, you were like an Insta baddie.
Oh yeah, this is my past life.
This was a past life. We won't go into it too much because it is a past life, but... And then I would argue you were one of the first, probably, I guess, well-known in a commercial sense, female gamer. Where did that come from to like sort of begin that? Because that was a big step. And I remember when you launched your first YouTube channel.
I was so scared.
And it was so crazy. I was like, who knew that she gamed?
Yeah, because at that point, I'd started doing radio, because you'd come on my radio show when you were still at 66 Mag.
Yeah, Represent.
Rinse. It was Rinse. Yeah. And you came on. But at that point, I hadn't started YouTube or anything. So I was still kind of figuring out what it was that I wanted to do. I've always loved gaming. I say I'm an undercover geek because my degree's in IT.
You're like a hot geek.
Yeah.
You're a hot geek.
I'm a geek, but I'm like into makeup and fashion and everything. So I knew there was female gamers. There was plenty of like big female gamers in the UK at the time, but they tended to specialize in one game or just not be, I guess, as commercial as I wanted to be. So my angle was, right, I'll do the YouTube gaming and then try and make it more mainstream, which was the vision. And then, just started from then when I launched the first video, which is probably about nearly 4.5 years ago now. And I know it's
that long.
Flown by. I can't believe it's that long either.
It doesn't even feel that long.
I know.
I feel like we're getting old though.
No, I was about to say that.
Because I remember when you launched it, it didn't feel that long. I thought it was like 3 years
Yeah.
maybe, but wow.
Do you know what it was? Lockdown. Like lockdown ate about 2.5 years out of existence.
I ate myself through lockdown, to be fair. So it was different for us all. But did you launch it in lockdown?
No, it was the year before. So end of 2018 going into 2019. So I'd been doing YouTube about a year, sort of kind of grinding, playing around with content, seeing what worked, what didn't. I was really like 2 videos a week, loads of different video games, get guests on the channel. So where I've lived in London, and as you said, I used to go out a lot and make friends. I used to call in favors from some of my friends. So we had AJ Tracy come on the channel.
I remember KSI.
KSI came on. I wasn't directly friends with him, but we had mutual friends. So that was a massive favor that he did for me. Always will respect him for that, because
did it launch it a bit more for you?
100%, because that video went up and it did, I think, about 50K views. I was gassed with that, because my channel was relatively new at that point. And then a few weeks later, randomly, the video just went boom, and it hit like 1 million views. It's on, I think it's still my most viewed video. It's probably on about 2.5 million views now. Yeah.
That is crazy.
For like a new YouTube channel as well. So I'll always give him credit for that. And just having that cosign, especially on a gaming channel, because back then, obviously now he's like boxer, music artist, YouTuber, but he was still sort of the YouTuber that used to do gaming, so it tied quite well into my channel. And so I just kind of ground away for about a year doing that. Went on a few brand trips. My first trip to LA, which was with Xbox, which was so cool. I went to a gaming festival in LA.
Oh, I remember that actually.
Yeah,
I remember your big picture outside of it.
Because I'm terrified of flying. That was the thing. And I documented it across my YouTube, but also Instagram as well, talking about I literally couldn't go to an airport until I was 18 years old. I couldn't see planes flying in the sky. I had to go on a fear of flying course, do hypnotherapy. I tried everything.
Fear of flying course. That's like a drink awareness course, isn't it?
Literally. And now
what did they do on that course?
They just teach you how a plane works. It sounds really
like
boring. No, I'm actually not joking. You pile into a room with about 300 people and they do a PowerPoint presentation about the technical side of planes and how safe they are.
Oh, wow.
And then, this is really bad.
So
I was 18 and everyone else I would say is above 40, because they all have lived experiences of bad plane experiences. And I'm there, never flown in my life. I just have an irrational fear of flying, right? And at the end of the day, they put all of the people in that room on like a BA flight. So imagine everyone in that room has like a phobia of flying, and they're just going to put them all on a plane together. And I was like, right. So I sat down. They were like, cabin crew, close the doors. You know, when the pilot says that, they go to close the door. I'm like, no, do you know what? I'm out. I can't do it. So I tried to run down the aisle screaming, and they literally pinned me to my chair. And I'm thinking, in hindsight, if I'm one of those people who actually has a fear of flying and a girl comes screaming down the aisle, that's not going to help me at all.
No.
But yeah, so I did that. Obviously stayed on the plane and eventually went to LA. And that was a big moment because it's like an 11-hour flight. I did it. So for me, even though it was a really good experience to go to LA and work with Xbox, the fact that I flew was like the biggest achievement ever. So that's why it was such a big moment. And then, so just over a year after I'd started my YouTube, got a text from KSI saying, what are you doing in a few weeks? We're going to do Sidemen Tinder YouTube female edition. And I was like, oh yeah, 100% will go, because obviously if you go on a video, anything to do with the Sidemen, it will elevate your own platform. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. Did that. That was just before lockdown. So the video came out, lockdown happened, the whole thing blew up, and my channel really started to sort of take off from there. And that's when it really kind of picked up. But before then, yeah, there was a lot of hard work and graft that went into it.
Well, it's interesting as well, because I know one of your managers, Austin, and I guess he found you right at the beginning, like before anyone else. And so how did you meet Austin? Because I don't know if you'd say this, I'm guessing you would say the same. He has supported and helped, nourished you across these last, 5-6 years.
Yeah. So he was at an award show that I went to, the first ever GRM Daily Awards, GRM Rated Awards, years ago. And I went because one of my friends was nominated for directing a music video.
Oh, amazing.
And I went, and then Austin was there because he works in the music industry. And we just met there and we got on. And I was working at IBM at the time doing computing. We kind of was talking about business. We were originally meant to go into business together. We wanted to make like a business. I'd kind of be like a silent partner type thing. And then when I quit my job, not knowing what I wanted to do, he messaged me as a joke saying, you should let me manage you. And I was just like, I actually would. He was like, okay. He was working at Spotify at the time. He was like, okay, come to the office tomorrow. We'll have a meeting. And then from that day, he was kind of a mentor / manager role. And he just built me up really. It was more the confidence thing, because I think I used to be very behind the scenes. I would always help my friends out and help them sort of do their thing in front of a camera or whatever they did. And I'm just a very organized person. So I was quite good at pushing them and organizing everything to do with their lives, but not actually focusing on what I wanted to do. So when I had Austin, he was just like, you spend so much time helping other people. If you put the same amount of effort into yourself, you would be massive. So I was just like, okay, maybe I'll try it. I was like I was never shy or not confident. I just never genuinely had thought about doing anything for myself. So he was the one that pushed me to kind of do that. He's very optimistic and I'm very pessimistic. So when we meet in the middle, it's quite like a good team. So
that is a great team. I think, if you look at how far you've come, you're obviously a great team. So I spoke to Austin yesterday and I actually, I just said, I've got Els coming on the pod. I'm really excited. I think he might come on too, actually.
That would be interesting. Get him on, Austin.
So I asked him to sum you up in 3 words. He actually gave me 4. And I wanted you to guess how he would describe you. And they're actually very nice. I honestly, if I think someone asked me, I would put some crazy ones in there.
Because I've never done this. When people ask people to describe you in 3 words, I avoid doing things like this because I'm like, oh, they're going to say something mean.
No, nothing. I would say all of these are absolutely great.
Okay, so I have to guess.
I want you to guess, but I'm not going to make you guess for ages. I will put you out in
a few. Okay. What would Austin say about me? Hardworking or driven? One of those?
No.
Oh God, what has he gone for? Maybe my view of myself is completely different to what I think.
You had kind of said something about this earlier.
Yeah.
When you were talking about, how you met and Spotify me. And
how I met. Unconfident?
No.
Shy?
No. It was a positive one.
It was a positive one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fumbling because I'm like thinking of loads of, because I'm like now questioning everything in my life up to this point. So.
Loyal.
Oh, I love that.
Smart.
Thank you.
Organised.
Yeah.
And the bonus one, which we spoke about just before you came on, was the one thing that you I think people misconcept about you. Funny.
Oh, he said I was funny.
He said you're funny.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. So what? Loyal,
smart, organised, and funny.
What
that's lovely,
really nice.
Words.
Yeah.
I know. I was kind of hoping for a bit more juicy, but yeah he was really sweet about it.
That's so nice. I do think when I'm friends with someone, I am very loyal to them. I think people get a wrong perception of me sometimes because I have a resting. Can I swear?
Yeah, cool. Everyone says that, okay. Isn't there?
I don't know. Because I have resting bitch face. And I also just think that my aura, if you didn't know me, seems quite standoffish. But it's not because I'm like, no one talk to me, I hate everyone. It's more like I am quite an awkward person. So I think I just go into a shell, which externally would seem like I don't want to be friendly to people. But it's more just like, I am dying on the inside because I'm so awkward. So I think that, a lot of people get the wrong perception, but I'm actually a really loving and loyal person deep down.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I think, I've known you a long time now. I do think you're funny, to be fair. But sometimes it's like an awkward funny as well. Yeah. But I think that's the one thing that I think you also would agree. People misconcept about you because you are like a presenter, so you do have to be taken very seriously. And something that I always speak about is the fact that, when you are in like the public eye and you have an entertainment job, you have, I guess Ellie and Els, right? There's 2 different people. And I think that's where people might get that wrong. And just because you're not cracking jokes all the time doesn't mean you're not funny.
Yeah, I think that something I've started to struggle with lately as well, where I've been doing more presenting roles, and you kind of have to lean into whatever job you're doing. So with presenting, especially in football or more professional, quote unquote, things like that, you do have to be more like deliver lines to camera, interview people, and it's not about your personality, it's about you doing a good job. Whereas on YouTube, on the flip side, I'm known for like my content and being Els, and I do struggle when I'm doing someone else's video on YouTube, for example, or being in a room with loads of YouTubers and filming a video, because not that I care too much about comments. I think I'm just a bit older now, so I don't really care anymore. But I do notice sometimes people like Els is boring and things like that, because I'm just in my head the whole time thinking I can't say too much. I can't be too out there and like just saying what I want and acting how I want, because in the back of my mind I'm thinking, is someone going to see this that I work with, or is a brand going to see this? And I think it's just overthinking it, but also I can't give away too much of my personality. Like I feel like in real life I'm probably more bubbly or just more open than I would be on a camera.
You know, it's so nice to hear that, because I think a lot of people probably feel the same about, you know, it's so much pressure, social media, and what should I be and who should I be? And there is no correct answer. Yeah. On your Instagram, I think you're very funny, and I think it's more because your followers are a bit weird, if I'm honest. Like there's you have your wiki feet page, and
I've been feet of the day twice, and that's
probably the best achievement you've had so far, right?
Put that on the wall.
But I think that's the one thing, you know, that I especially because I think you're a woman in a man's world, you're in football and gaming. Talk about the most masculine sort of subjects, you know, and like on the topic of those, breaking into those two industries, was that a struggle being a woman? Especially because I think the game industry, from what I've seen, is a little bit touchy-feely. And then obviously, you know, let's be honest, we've all heard it at one point, you know, women shouldn't be speaking about men's football. What do they know about football? And, you know, maybe if you said that to me, I'd agree, because I have no clue about anything. But I just think it's where you're in a male-dominated world, people can automatically jump the gun just because you're a woman.
Yeah, they do. I think that I just remind myself now that I am where I am because I deserve to be, and I work hard and I'm good at my job. But obviously online, people will either see just a photo or just a little 1% of actually everything that goes into what you do, and then make an assumption off of it. So at the moment, people don't like me. Well, the football fans don't, because Man City won the league and I was poking fun at Arsenal. So every day at the moment, I'll just get a comment of people being like, you're a fake fan, you're only paid to support them, etc., etc. And what I found that is, if you're a female presenter, people will kind of doubt that you are good at what you do, or you know loads of knowledge. I've been open. I'm on a learning journey with football. Like 4 years ago, I didn't really know much, but I put in work to learn. But I am good at interviewing and having an earpiece in and presenting in front of people in the stadium. That's not easy. You could know as much as you want about football. Not everyone can do that. So that's where it's sort of different. But
I completely agree. Even like teleprompters and stuff, I think people think it's a very easy job. I've watched people melt down in front of teleprompters. I couldn't do it.
It is hard. Like, it's all very hard. And it's a balance of, you can be really good at presenting and then know nothing about the sport. That wouldn't work, because you do generally have to have an interest in it, which I have, and I'm learning as I go along. You can learn as much as you want about a sport. You can have like an encyclopedia brain of football back to front, put you in front of a crowd or in front of a teleprompter or with an in-ear where people are talking to you, and not everyone can do it. So there are two sides to it, and I know that I am good at what I do and I work hard. But
preach, girl.
Thank you. I have found that as a female, people want you to prove how much you know. So it's like, I could have done the best job ever, but you'll get someone in the DMs being like, can you name every player from circa 2001 with brown hair who accidentally tripped over on the pitch at the 56th minute? And like, they will be so specific, because if you got that right, that means you know everything. Do you know what I mean?
That is just silly, but surely you could Google that anyway. If it's on
Probably
DM.
Could Google it and just learn it. And I'm sure not everyone knows that. Not everyone. If it was a man, I don't think they'd need to be having all these specific facts.
No, I think it all to do with how when you're younger, you know, like my family household was all rugby. You know, football wasn't really a thing in my house. And you know, if I then decide later on I wanted to get into football, what is wrong with that? Just because I didn't kick a ball from the womb. Like there's something wrong with me, or you know. And I think I don't know. I've always noticed that women don't necessarily criticize men for, you know, for if they were to enter maybe like a women's space or a space that's traditionally women, shall I say, like nursing and things like that. But if, you know, God forbid women go into a more male dominated space and slash down at every corner.
You have to have thick skin, I think.
Yeah, and I think you've absolutely outdone yourself. You should be really proud of how far you've come. I'm proud of you. I actually wrote down some of your key achievements.
Oh my gosh. I forget this is good because sometimes people are like, what have you been up to? And I literally go blank in my mind.
I thought it's good to remind yourself how much of a boss bitch you are. Kiss FM DJ, or is it a host? Like, what would you call it?
Presenter. Yeah, I can't DJ yet. I do want to learn.
Presenter for Man City, which is pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's one of my favorite jobs that I have. And when we won the league last year, I hosted sort of the backstage at the parade with all the players.
Oh my God.
It was so cool. And I think just having those opportunities is crazy.
That is, I think, a lot of young women's dreams.
Or a lot of people's dreams, they would want to do that. So.
I think more about Jack Grealish, to be fair. I think a lot of women would be very jealous. You launched your own podcast.
I did. Citizen Game.
Yeah, which one of my clients went on, and it was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed
Grace, she made a game where someone had chlamydia. That's all I can remember.
I think it was a Sims version of chlamydia.
Yeah, something. And she was based in Cambridge, and someone had chlamydia. So I was like, very Grace.
She doesn't go off topic, does she? What you see is what you get. You have just launched your own YouTube cooking show.
I have, Baking L's, because I can't bake. So that is why.
Are people trying to help you learn to bake?
Well, I just tend to find that everyone else can't bake that I get on the channel as well.
Oh, so it's just a mess.
It's more just a chaotic mess, but it's cute at the same time because like we just learn how to bake a cake and have a chat. And there's like trials and tribulations, but we get there in the end. So yeah.
You've been a presenter for BBC Three, BBC Two, and MOTDX.
MOTDX, yes. That's another really good
football.
Yeah, that one's football. But it's cool because we get on guests who are music artists or other presenters. I have watched one of your episodes.
Have you? My boyfriend watches it, so
I remember this actually. I think you said before when you heard my voice or something, you walked into the living room.
Yeah, and he was just sat there watching. He was like, "Your friend's on TV." I was like, "Sorry, I don't know why I just did that voice for Connor, but yeah." And I was like, "Oh my God, look at her go!" And it's just before I knew that you were doing that. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
it was so nice to see, and you did really, really well.
Thank you.
I love seeing all your achievements. They were the key achievements I wanted to really highlight. Which one of those would you say that you were most proud when you got the job?
Which one am I most proud of?
I think we'll take out the podcast and the YouTube because you did those yourself.
Just myself. I'm most proud of, I think Man City probably, just because I think it's such a big thing. It's given me so many massive opportunities, and experience. That's the main thing for me. It's experience in the terms of working with such an amazing club and meeting all the players and working with other presenters. But talking in front of a stadium, I never knew it was so hard because your voice will be projecting out into the stadium, but it echoes all the way around. So you could be on the sideline interviewing an athlete or a presenter or someone, and you can hear your own voice echoing.
And then you've got people's voices in your ear.
People talking in your ear saying, right, we're going to cut to a break in 1 minute, and they'll count down. And then you're trying to listen to what the other person's saying and thinking of a response back to show that you're genuinely listening. So those types of things, I think, has given me such good experience in presenting live.
Oh God, that sounds petrifying.
It is the first time I did it. Natalie, who's one of the other presenters at Man City, she is so good at what she does. She literally is like a diehard City fan. And before we did the first link, she was like, just so you're aware, your voice is going to like be projected around the stadium. So I was like, at least I knew that. But yeah, I'd definitely say the Man City one. Another achievement, which I just love, was I did the McDonald's advert, which was on TV.
I saw that, with Maya Jama.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
And that was on every ad break during the World Cup.
Oh, no,
I'm a Celebrity.
That was really cool. Were you all? I know how those shoots work. They're like across a few days usually.
So we did a whole afternoon. It was about 5 or 6 hours, and the scene was 2 seconds in the advert. So it was me, Michael Dapper, and Maya just replaying the same scene over and over again, because I was gaming and then Michael was next to me eating the burger, and then Maya just pops up behind us and is like stealing.
It is crazy. I think people don't see about TV is it will literally be hours and hours and hours for 5 minutes sometimes. Like, you know, and that's like, we've done shoots before, it's like 3 days. And I'm like, wow, it was literally a 10-minute show. Like, what the hell?
I know.
And it is painful. And people think, oh, these shoots look so fun. Like, and they're great and the brands are amazing. But sometimes you really are a bit like, I am shattered, because they pick you up at like 5 a.m. and
hair and makeup, everything.
Yeah, and it does look glamorous. And it is glamorous, but I think it is tougher than people think.
Yeah.
And
I think sometimes as well, it's very draining being in front of a camera, because I've learned as I've got older. I used to think I was an extrovert. Don't know why, because I'm quite quiet. But
I think you're an in-betweener now.
I think I am. So I now will just, I'm so happy by myself. So I would like to say I'm more of an introvert now, but I do think I'm a balance between the two, depending on my mood. But at shoots, I do think it's very draining being in front of a camera because of the lights. I always go home with a migraine after a big shoot because their bright lights are on you all the time. Like presenting as well, when you're just looking into camera, you have to focus so hard to remember all of your lines and things like that. When you get home, you literally just want to sit in silence the whole evening. Like I'll get home and just lie on the couch like, oh.
See how, you know, obviously now you're a presenter and your whole, I guess people must recognize you on the streets now.
Sometimes, yeah. I went to a Spider-Man premiere recently.
Yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Recently,
yesterday. No, but I was, I don't know when you're going to put it out, but yeah, and I was like younger people. I think my audience is younger.
Yeah.
So they were really cute. Like a group of girls asked me for a photo and a few people as well. So I find that if it's a younger audience, then people will ask for photos. Actually, I have found now, because I do the football stuff, that if I'm at a football event or things like that, people will ask me for photos, which I think is really cute.
It is really cute.
Yeah.
Has it affected like your personal life? You know, I see it a lot with people, like maybe their friends sometimes change, or it's harder to find love. You don't have to answer that part, but you know, I think it's just always interesting to hear, because especially when I know how many hours, you know, my talent work or I work, and sometimes the last thing you want to do is leave your house outside of work. You're just like that.
So hard. I would want to say no, but if you probably deep it has, because it's hard to make plans in advance. So a lot of my group of friends from school, so from around Norwich and Norfolk area, they'll want to make a plan, and they'll do like, you know, when you can vote for dates that you're free and be like, who wants to meet up in 2 months' time on a Saturday? And I'm like, I can't commit to doing that, because I literally don't know what my life looks like in two months' time on a Saturday, because I could be working. And I'm the type of person that I hate saying yes to something and then having to cancel it. I'd rather just say up front, like, don't know if I can come. So if I can, I'll just tell you last minute and I'll turn it up, which is quite frustrating, because it's like I miss out on a lot of things, I think. And I think eventually people would just stop reaching out because they just know that I'm too busy. Or people assume that you're so busy because of what they see on social media. Yes, they don't think to invite you, when actually it's like,
happens to me a lot.
I'd be quite like to be invited, or just someone to be like, how are you? Do you want to go for a drink or something like that? I
think people always think, you know, the bigger you get, the more friends you have and the more people invite you out. Actually, it's the complete opposite. It's actually quite lonely. Very. Because I know how it is with my friends, and I love them to pieces, but they don't ever invite me out anymore. And I know why, because I'm always like, oh, I can't do that. Or, you know, oh, I'm actually working, or I'm abroad this week and I'm working for this. And, you know, like, we're just having fun. Or like, you just see people just sort of disappear a little bit and they don't really reply as much. And it is a little bit sad, but you also think this is kind of the life I wanted. So it's a catch-22.
It's a catch-22. And in no way am I like unhappy. And I can't blame anyone else for it. It's probably as much my responsibility to like reach out to other people.
You're knackered.
I'm just tired. I forget to reply to messages half the time because I'm at work, and then I'll get overwhelmed if I'm at a shoot all day and then I look at my phone and there's too many messages. I'm like, can't do it. We'll just ignore.
Oh yeah, no, I either say something like this. I'm like,
yeah, just put it down and ignore about it. But yeah, love life, touchy subject, because it's always terrible. So I feel like it's a joke with the internet at this point, because I keep saying...
You do talk about it a lot.
I talk about it because I'm actually starting to learning it's probably me that is the problem and not other people, because I'm just too fussy. And I actually am terrified of dating. So like the thought of a date and just, I'm an awkward person. I don't need to put myself into awkward scenarios. That just makes it so much worse. So I just, I need to force myself. I do Cal Freezy does the videos where he interviews people. I know Grace did it recently. We interviews people a year apart, and I've done it 3 years in a row now. Every year it's like, so have you found love? I'm like, no. And last year I said I was going to go on a date. That was my New Year's resolution. Didn't do it.
You didn't date at all last year?
I can't tell you the last time I went on a date.
Oh, not even for the free dinner.
I don't meet people. Like I can't go on any dating apps because probably catfishes of me on there anyway. There's like Raya. I'm not going on that.
Oh no, I've heard some weird stories about Raya.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on that. And I don't really get DMs off people that
don't want your feet.
Yeah, I don't want my feet, and just I don't. I mean, I need to go out and meet people probably, but I don't do that.
You don't have time, really.
Don't have time. It's just a never-ending cycle.
Sounds like a vicious
I
cycle.
need to go. I want to do speed dating.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Elsa, speed dating.
Maybe I should do that.
But it'd just be you. It can line up loads of men and just see.
Yeah, just see what works.
See what works. Be like, do you know anything about her? No. Great. You can come on the speed dating.
Please come. Do you like gaming? Yes. Okay, cool. We can talk about it.
Yeah, but then the only thing is like, how many cool gamers are there? I think it's becoming a bit more of a trendy thing. Like, I think you've really inspired a lot of women to game, because I see so many female gamers online now. And before you, if I'm honest, I never saw any.
I think lockdown helped as well, because everyone was at home. And that's when live streaming became more of a thing. So you have Twitch and you can live stream on YouTube, and even on Instagram you can do it. And TikTok, I see a lot of gamers now. So I think it's just becoming more of a thing. And as the younger generation is now getting older, which is crazy to me, like people born in
2000,
23 now. What's going on?
I know, like even when I see like resumes come in and it says like born 2000, I'm like, oh my God, I remember going to my brother's birth in 2000. Yeah. I'm like, fuck.
I remember the millennium.
I remember we were the youngest people in the industry about that time. And now we're like the fucking oldest. Yeah. Well, we're not the oldest. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But now people are coming in younger than us. You know, all my staff is like 22, 23.
Yeah, I go on shoots sometimes and there's like 20-year-olds and I'm like, wow, I am so much older than you.
I'm like, wow, I really was pissing about for a lot of time, wasn't I? Before
what was I doing?
Getting drunk. That's what I was doing. I was getting drunk.
Literally.
So how I like to sum up my podcast is I like to ask the final question, which is, if there's a part of your life that you could manage better, how would you do that? And which part of that life would it be? It could be your personal, your work life.
Mine would be personal life. I think one thing about me is I've always said work I can control. I'm a control freak. So I can control work because that's up to me. Like how much hard work do I want to put in? And I am a workaholic. So I can do that. Relationships and personal life is something I can't control and I just ignore completely. I'm just like, I'll figure it out one day. And I'm like, the time is ticking, my friend. Like you actually need to do something. So I think it's the work-life balance, and it's something I always preach and never actually do myself. So it's like, whether that be booking a holiday or taking some time off, going on a date, I say that I'm going to do those things all the time and I never do it. I'll book a week off and I'll get an email being like, oh, this job came in. And I'm like, cool, cancel the week off. I'll do the job.
Yeah. I literally did this earlier, just before someone asked me for a meeting. I was meant to be on holiday on the 14th of June. And I went, oh, fuck it. So I literally emailed someone and was like, I'm going to move my holiday to the 15th. But then before I know it, I'll move it all the way back and I won't even have a holiday. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I'm okay with it. I get bored on holiday. I'm itchy for it.
I'm a big fan of a long weekend. 4 days. Because I get, or if I'm moving around, I can't just do a week in one place because I start getting bored. And I'm like, I want to go home.
I get weird about, I think as well because I'm ginger. I don't know how ginger your skin is. I don't like lying in the sun.
I can't.
I burn to a cinder. I went to a park to walk my dogs on Sunday and I burnt my eyelids and my forehead and it's actually still burnt up here. God. Ridiculous. I'm in England.
Yeah.
My eyelids still hurt.
Yeah, so I have a whole process on holiday. Because for me, I don't go in the sun.
Oh yeah.
Because I just
shade diver like me.
Yeah, there's no point. So I'll go underneath a parasol or something like that. I have also learned that sun makes you look older after a while. So I'm just trying to preserve the youngness as long as I can. And then I'm like, have to preserve my fake tan as well. So I can't go in the pool on like the first few days. The last few days, I'll be in the pool all the time because I'm like, I don't care. I'm going home soon.
I get scared about getting my hair in the pool because my hair goes really crispy. Like it burns in the sun.
Oh yeah, I've had that before as well.
Everything just burns.
I just wish I could be one of those like people that goes on holiday and flourishes. I literally come back looking worse than when I left. A lot of people like sun-kissed, really refreshed and calm. I come back and I'm just like a wreck.
No, I come back and I have really freckly knees and that's all I could show for it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like
freckles.
Like that's it. That's all. I've never come back. Like people just find it baffling too. You go, yeah, no, I don't tan. They're like, not even slightly. I'm like, no, not even slightly.
Yeah.
Like, but after the red, it must go brown. I'm like, nope, I go back white.
Yeah, I go back white and I peel.
Yeah, I peel too. I'm a peeler.
I just get freckles and I've accepted that now. So
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll just go to Iceland on holiday. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This has been a great interview. I really enjoyed it.
I know I've enjoyed it. And also, before we go, can I just say I'm proud of you as well because you absolutely smashed it. I think you started HLD
2019.
a few months after I'd started YouTube. So it's kind of like the same time frame, but you've done so sick.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Managed. If you loved watching, please make sure you're following us so you can receive updates on our next episode. I'll see you next week.